Hello, welcome to another edition of Soccer As We Like It. Now, we are going to talk about a legend who had just passed away, and we all know the man called Diego Armando Maradona. We all know him being one of the greatest footballers to ever grace the stage of football globally, the beautiful game. But let's see his journey quickly. He started playing back in the late early 70s as a kid for Boca Juniors, where he was there for 5 years and scored an immense number of goals. He was absolutely off the Richter scale. But what people don't understand, he was never a striker, but an attacking midfielder or a number 10. He played right behind the striker. But he always scored more goals than the striker. And that was what was fascinating about this guy. So when he left South America at a very young age, he joined Barcelona in 1983 from 1982 to 1984. He had 2 seasons in Barcelona, and this was a time when the brutality and the ferocity and the intensity of tackles from defending in La Liga was absolutely dreadful. When I say dreadful, if you saw the tackles that were flying in, kung fu kicks, Shaolin kicks, you thought you were watching Enter the Dragon or Fist of Fury. It was that intense. But red cards were like giving out candy. There were some games you had 3 players center from one side. You had 2 players center from one side of one team. It was that. But he was able to get through it. Played for them, won he didn't win a title with La Liga, Barcelona. He won the Spanish Cup and he won the Spanish Super Cup. He tried to help them win the European Cup Winners' Cup, which then was a trophy which clubs who won the FA Cup went into. So you had the Champions League, which was the European Cup then. Only the champions of the leagues went into that trophy. The winners of the FA Cup went into European Cup Winners' Cup, and the runners-up of the leagues went into UEFA Cup. Now they've scrapped the European Cup Winners' Cup and merged it with the UEFA Cup. Now that's where we are. Anyway, but that was then. But the fact of the matter is, Diego Maradona, in spite of all that, played for Barcelona for those 2 seasons. And he won the Copa del Rey. And when he was playing for Barcelona in the 1984 season, they qualified for the quarterfinals of the European Cup Winners' Cup. And they came across a team called Manchester United. They met Manchester United in the quarterfinals. The first leg in Spain, Barcelona won by 2-0. Man United at this time were being captained by Brian Robson and being managed by a man called Ron Atkinson at the time. They had players like Gary Bailey, Kevin Moran, Norman Whiteside, Frank Stapleton, Remy Moses in midfield with Brian Robson, Arnold Murin. Who else did they have out there? I'm trying to think. Did they have Mark Hughes at the time? I can't remember. But they had some good players at the time. But it was a Liverpool-dominated era in English football. But cut a long story short, the first leg, Man United lost by 2-0 in Spain. And Manchester United came back to overturn the 2-0 defeat by beating Barcelona with Maradona by 3-0. 2 goals by Bronson and a third goal by Frank Stapleton. But United lost in the semi-finals to Juventus, a Juventus which had a team of players like Platini, yes, that Platini, Paolo Rossi, the guy who led Italy to the World Cup final victory in 1982, Boniek. They had a lot of world-class players in that Juventus team, so United were no match for that team, and they were knocked out in the semi-finals. But what I'm saying here was, he left Barcelona and went to Napoli. Napoli was a team who had not won any league titles at the time in the 80s when Maradona played for them. He played for them for 5 seasons, winning 2 league titles, a UEFA Cup, the Spanish League title, the Spanish FA Cup, and the Spanish Super Cup. He did very well there. For a midfielder, he was an icon. He was the glue that glued the club together. He was so great at Napoli. Napoli built a statue for that guy. He was that fantastic. He gave them 2 league titles in 5 years. And they've not won a single title since then. They've been close, but never ever. Correct me if I'm wrong, I might be wrong. So, but that was his club football. When he left Italy, he went to Sevilla for one season, and after that he returned back to Boca Juniors, went to South America. But let's look at his international career. He blossomed, he went to the 1982 World Cup for the first time and played for Argentina, but was knocked out by Italy after getting a red card. The eventual winners of that year's World Cup was Italy in 1982. In the group of death, you had Argentina, Brazil, and Italy. Italy beat Argentina 2-1, beat Brazil 3-2. Everyone's going to remember that fantastic game. And Brazil beat Argentina. But it was a very bloody game. Maradona was sent off. But he returned in 1986. He returned in 1986 to tell the world he was ready. He was mature. And the game that stands out that everybody remembers was the quarter-final match against England. Argentina and England, Aztec Stadium, Mexico, 117,000 people watching that match. What did you expect was going to happen? Maradona was on top of his game. I don't think England knew what they were going to expect. But what they did expect was the hand of God, where he outjumped Peter Schmeichel and used his hand to put the ball in the net. This was the days where there was no VAR. So the goal stood. What he said was, he knew he used his hand. Peter Schmeichel knew he used his hand. The English defenders knew he used his hand, but they could not prove it because there was no VAR. And he says, if we start celebrating, the referee's going to believe it's a goal. It's all about psychology. Was that great? No. It was dishonest. But as far as the referee agreed, it was a goal, 1-0. But what the world did not know, England was still rattled from that. 4 minutes later, this guy, Diego Armando Maradona, got the ball in his half of the field and wills his way past 6 England players. He even beat one player twice. After Terry Butcher, he dribbled him twice. Dribbled him twice and beat Peter Shilton to score one of the greatest goals ever scored at the World Cup. That you could not dispute. It was fantastic. Then he got to the semi-finals where he met Belgium. And this guy single-handedly destroyed Belgium. They couldn't even take... See, people say, why didn't England players try to tackle him in the quarterfinals? This guy was built like a tank. Built with a low center of gravity. Strong physically. Low center of gravity with ball stuck to his feet. And the blinding, scintillating skills and mesmerizing football footwork was out of this world. It was nothing people could do. You just could knock the guy over. It was like a tank. So Belgium, he tortured them. He tortured them. It was so bad when they won the final whistle. The Belgian keeper ran to Maradona and said, I want your shirt. After he'd just been destroyed. The defenders were destroyed. He tortured them. He cleaned them out. Yes, he took Argentina to the World Cup final, but they didn't win. He didn't score in the final, but he created 2 goals for Valdano and Barachuga. Barachuga, I think that's his name. Can't remember his name. It's been a while. 1986 World Cup final. They beat Germany by 3-2, and he was his pass scored created 2 of the goals. So he won the World Cup in 1986. He went back to Argentina. He went back to the World Cup in 1990, where he lost in the final. Germany got the revenge, 1-0. But he was a legend. You can't dispute it. Off the field, he was a flawed genius. When I say a flawed genius, off the field, he partied, he drank, he did drugs. He said even in his days at Napoli, when they asked for a urine test, he got another urine test of someone else because he knew he was on drugs. But at the same time, take away that, the man behind all the partying, be the boozing, the drinking, the drugging, the women, everything that a modern day footballer can't even comprehend and put that in his day again. All the fines, the suspensions, the bans. He was still able to deliver a first-class performance for his country and for his team he played for. Takes a lot. He died on the same day that George Best, another genius who played for Manchester United in the 60s, was remembered after 15 years. George Best died in 2005, the exact day that Maradona died. George Best was another one who was a genius. He played in the era whereby tackles, they just break your legs. Tackles were flying in all over the place. But this guy would disappear for weeks and disappear for weeks, not training. The club didn't even know where he was. Then he would turn up, get a fine, get a ban. But when he gets on the field, he would do some scintillating magic that is out of this world. And you wonder, like, what the hell? But that was his life outside. He was an alcoholic. He just had a great time. Women all over the place, hotels. The club just couldn't handle it. But when he played, he was a joy to see. What is the difference between Maradona? Just two different eras. George Best was in the 60s and the 70s. Maradona was in the 80s and early 90s. That's the difference. But a common denominator between them, they are just flawed geniuses. And Diego Maradona, may he so rest in peace, is one genius that people will never forget. He will be missed, but he will never be forgotten because of his scintillating skills and his achievements. Napoli wasn't the greatest team in the 80s, but he made them and put them on the map in Italian football. He was a guy who liked life. But at the same time, he really knew how to play football. And that's all that matters in this beautiful game. The dark side and the beautiful side. He wanted both, but sometimes in life, you can't have both. Something's got to give. But what we should embrace is we were opportuned to see these geniuses at work. I was too young to see George Best, but I saw the videos. I've seen people who watched him. I've seen the videos. He was truly a talent. He led Manchester United to the 1968 European Cup final against Benfica. He destroyed Benfica. One of his greatest moments. But he was an alcoholic. It is what it is. As for Diego Maradona, there won't be another Maradona. Messi, people say Messi is the closest to Messi. Is not Maradona. Can never be, never will be. Maradona never played in one team. He went from Boca Juniors to Barcelona, then to Napoli, then to Boca Juniors. Sevilla, then back to Boca Juniors. And what he did for his country was immense. So when people say Messi is no, they're not in the same category. Messi and Ronaldo are not in the same category as Pele and Maradona. That's a different league, a different era, and a different kettle of fish of players. They are in a different box. Ronaldo and Messi are a different box of great players. But I'll leave you on one note. In today's society, in today's football, what Maradona achieved, what he did, you won't get away with it in today's football. Football is more living in a bubble, very more rigid. But he was the ultimate complete football who liked to have a good time. But overall, the world will miss his skills and the world will remember Diego Maradona 1986 World Cup. From me, Tim Russell, tell us what you think. What your best moments about Diego Maradona? I'll always remember as a kid watching 1986 World Cup. I'll always remember he was fantastic. From me, Tim Russell, your host, is goodbye and good night.